I promise you can stop dying in gunfights and become immortal if you follow these rules in this video. These rules will instantly make you a better player to win every game and fight. Rule 1. Avoiding 50-50. 50-50s is when you and your opponent are in a fair 1v1 out in the open. Please avoid this at all costs. See why this is bad? If you don't have God's aim himself, you're legit flipping a coin to see who wins this fight. So fuck playing fair. You deserve to win, so you have to stack advantages instead. First step is having great awareness. This will put you miles ahead of all the other idiots playing Apex. Gather as much information you have on every opponent around you with your eyes and audio. Move your camera around to see where everyone is and where they're going to be. Listen to the footsteps. This is a big indicator of where the danger zones are. You need to be stalking them like you're trying to follow them home at night. Apex fixed their audio because these days it feels like I have echolocation, the way I can pinpoint everyone. Use that information to figure out enemy positions, the best places to take gunfights, but especially to not take damage and plan your next move. But hey, if you want to get good fast because you have an actual life, then try out my coaching service. You'll be able to improve like me and all my other clients who all got to masters within their first season of coaching. There's 3 weeks of unlimited sessions, all one-on-one, and free unlimited VOD reviews. Did I mention it's unlimited? It's also guaranteed you have insane aim improvement and game improvement, or you get all your money back. This clip, we know where the enemy is based off peeking and that it's a 1v3. Since they did damage and I'm a solo, I can predict that this team is going to push me. So the best option is to reposition to where I have the advantage, height. And since this guy didn't track me and lost awareness, I now have the jump on him. Now he looks like a deer in the middle of the street jumping around, while I'm completely safe to take free shots because he has no cover. Since we know all 3 of the enemies are here thanks to our awareness, it's safe to back up and heal. We hear the second guy coming towards us, so we block that off. But this is where using the information from our awareness comes in. If only one guy is chasing, that means the second guy is probably rezzing, meaning he can't shoot back. So we can take a new approach to capitalize on that. All that's left to do is violate him from the back. Now, reset, and we use our audio cues to locate where the last guy is, and it's a simple 1v1 for the win. This is why you constantly see pros or good players looking around when healing or just in general, because the only way to take advantage of your enemy is to be prepared to do so. Trust me, the drones in your game are not doing this. If they were, everyone would be masters all the time. This also applies to drop spots and even rotation. Awareness of the enemies tells us how to play and what plans to make to do so. This is a necessity to be a good player and never die. But this is nothing if you don't know how to position yourself and play cover in fights. Tired of re-queuing for a new game every time you see an enemy? Then make sure every engagement you are moving from cover to cover. Listen up, this is as important as awareness. Cover is your lifeline and shield in fights. You need to abuse it. When there is multiple enemies, use it to cut out the other hoes so you have one-on-one time with your enemy. But most importantly, use it to counter opponents shooting. It goes like this. First, using our awareness, we pre-aim as we peek. Shoot, but then the absolute millisecond they begin to try and shoot back at us, we hide back into the cover. Now they're going to be scratching their heads like, what the hell is this guy doing? And as soon as they stop shooting, then peek back again on your terms and do the same thing. Although if you get a huge enough lead and they don't do as much damage shooting back at you, then it can be okay to take the risk and just get the kill. This technique will let you get peeker's advantage and control the fight, leaving your opponent to react and guess, putting them at a disadvantage. You always want to be the one bitching them and peeking when you want to, so that they have to listen to you. I repeat, most of the time, you want to be the one to swing them and play the cover how you want to. Because 1, we aren't bitches on this channel. 2, it lets you control them, and sometimes the peeker's advantage can be so fast it looks like they don't even stand a chance on their screen. Everyone watching this video, if you don't listen to anything I say on this channel at all, then please remember this one tip I just gave. This alone will stop you from getting one clipped all the time. But remember, it has to be combined with awareness. So please stop wide swinging nothing with no info. I promise you will die. Remember, The whole point is to stack advantages in your favor. So don't feel like a pussy without doing it. Although I'm pretty sure most people's cases, they just don't even know to do this in the first place. And for those of you who are stuck solo queue, remember, this game is a damage game. So this will help you do more damage and take none. So your 70 IQ randoms that the game puts you with in plat won't matter anymore. Speaking of randoms, sometimes they really actually do nothing. And you're forced to play the cover against multiple people. So here's how we do that. First, with our awareness, we can find weaknesses and cover to control the fight. Say a guy's chasing you and you just queued out of Wraith and we got to the cover first. Now that we have that cover, we can re-peek on our terms, catching the chaser off guard. How is this Ashe even supposed to compete? This guy's probably gonna rage quit for the night because your ass keeps shitting on them with this. Although you might think that it's different against high level players that play cover, but the thing is, you would do the exact same thing. Remember, it's a damage game. If I had to explain it to a 5-year-old, I'd say this: Apex is damage game. Damage game wins fights. I do more damage, enemy backs off, I can push up for free, kill enemy. You follow these rules to ultimately do more damage than they do to you. This also means try to shoot your gun as much as possible. Sometimes I'll see someone on my team and we'll end the game with 300 damage and I'll have like 3k. Like, he might as well just not picked up any weapons. Shoot your gun. Trust me, they'll scatter like rats and hide to heal, giving you time to push up closer and closer using cover and end the fight. But make sure you keep up the pressure. But how do you pressure opponents? Well, if you can't shoot them, then this is what our abilities are for, to aid us. Be creative. Horizon Q someone off the cover. Even nades. Even throw nades so they can't heal. There are counters to almost everything in this game. And now that you know that, your enemies have no chance against you. But this is just the basics. There are multiple little things that make us die over and over, ruining the game for us. So I'm gonna teach you how to get revenge. You keep dying in Apex because you don't actually know what advantages to get. So start with power positions and angles. You need to realize that power positions are usually height because you can abuse head glitches or areas that give you a lot more space and cover to work with. But let's say for some reason we got caught lacking and need to get an advantage on an incoming team. What do? This is what abilities are for, because there is 2 ways to get angles. Sneak in the shadows like a ninja when people are not looking at you to move freely, or use abilities to obstruct their view or to move yourself where you want to be. If you don't want to be surrounded, use your bang smoke to get a better position. What are you holding it for? Or we all know this one: I'm queuing to hide. That is the point of these abilities, to help you get an advantage in whatever way you need to. Think of it like a trump card. Don't panic. You can plan ways to get positional advantages almost anywhere. I can already hear the comments going crazy saying, well, in my lobbies, that doesn't work. 1, that's wrong. 2, a lot of the time, people are in way too deep already before they even think about doing anything. So to fix this, before you meet your enemies, try and plan how to get an advantage on them beforehand, not when we're already getting sprayed down by King Von. This way you'll eventually learn all the power positions in most areas, or just get so good you can think of them on the fly. But this goes hand in hand with angles, and you need to understand how to get these. I use the word angles in terms of positioning to mean different areas to shoot from, while using our opponent as the base. As long as our opponent's crosshair isn't directly on you at that moment, that's an angle advantage. This is why it's useful to be a little more spread out from your team, so that the other team doesn't have an easy time of just putting their crosshair in one area. Say they push and you are already to the side. They probably won't see you shooting them in the back just because they're thinking about pushing that one guy. It's so easy. But let's say you want to get an angle to get an opening for your team in solo queue. If people are looking at you, gotta remember, abilities. Personally, I will use Wraith Portal in queue to get a side angle if I think it's strong enough and worth it, because all their monkey brains on the other team will turn their heads to look at me doing this. And remember how I said a good angle is where the crosshair isn't looking directly? Well, now your low IQ teammates in the back that do nothing would have the freest angle of their lives just because the other team is distracted. Although they probably won't do anything with it, just being real. But you can do this with many legends. Control legends, however, would be the types to deny angles or give warnings about teams taking angles. So everyone has their job. Even with all this info, people will still end up dying because of one brutal mistake, and that's not putting everyone in front of you. If there is a big cluster of people, you always want to move so that you don't have someone behind. Make sure everyone is in front to give you better awareness so you don't get snuck. Sometimes I hear dumbasses refusing to reposition and then end up getting blasted in the ass. We aren't role-playing as burgers. Move! That wasn't even funny. I don't know why I said that. Don't be scared if solo queuing to make the right play and tell your teammates to do so also. If they don't listen, oh well. Don't get yourself killed because you want to please other people. They are hard stuck in that rank with. This also makes it way easier to predict your enemies with baits because you know where everyone is. Although just because you know where everyone is doesn't mean you still can't get outplayed. That's what predictions are for. Most people haven't predicted an enemy in a single game of Apex and it's seriously holding them back. Most of the time when going against someone, there was a handful of decisions they can make, but based on the type of player in their hand, you can actually predict what they are actually going to do. Put yourself in their shoes. They are human, not gods. If you were that guy, what would you do? And prepare a counterplay for the situation that they are most likely to do. And you can get really accurate at this. You'll start to realize what different skill levels of opponents do, or the most safe option to do, or even start thinking of a bunch of counterplays just to beat them. This goes for every part of the game, but this could also happen to you. So don't be the guy who does the same most predictable reach out after every time they get cracked, then start crying their sweats in your game. Prediction is what separates the normies from the highest Apex players. You can control every single person in this game if you can figure out all their options. But we did all of this just to avoid 50-50 gunfights. But there are situations when we can bum rush the enemy, and that's only when we have an HP advantage. That's what this whole thing is for, to get an HP advantage so that we can push them and have a high chance of winning the fight. But if you notice, even while doing everything, you're still losing fights in Apex, then watching this video is probably the only way to fix them.